This is CBC Winnipeg News.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Wildfire danger in Manitoba remains high. Hot, dry weather continues to elevate fire risk across much of the province, with some already active wildfires, including 2 burning out of control northeast of Winnipeg. Those started over the weekend east of Lac du Bonnet. 4 water bombers, including 2 from Ontario, are working to keep them from spreading. A helicopter could be seen helping extinguish one of those fires today. Sprinklers have been installed on 2 properties as a precaution. The fire chief says crews are being proactive and making progress getting the fires under control.
Any houses up against the forest, we went out last night and we put up what's called sprinkler kits or valley protection, and they're basically sprinklers to run prior to the fire. If the fire, unfortunately comes towards the house, we're gonna have the sprinklers to wet everything down, raise the humidity, and hopefully save the structures.
The chief adds there's much less smoke today than yesterday. Reeve Lorne Schinkel says people are on edge because they don't want to see a repeat of last year's devastation. Flames burned through more than 40 square kilometers in the area, killing 2 people and damaging nearly 30 properties. The concern in many areas is not necessarily the current fire activity, but how quickly a fire could start. Now, once fires ignite, hot and windy weather fan the flames. It can turn a difficult situation into an out-of-control one quickly. 1 year ago, just across the border, it helped fuel the worst wildfire disaster in Saskatchewan's recent history. Hundreds of homes were destroyed in the northern village of Denair Beach on June 2nd, 2025. It's taken a toll on the people, but as CBC's Eric Westhaver reports, the community is rebuilding.
This isn't a typical summer at Denair Beach. Land and people here bear scars from a wildfire last summer, but the healing has begun, and people are coming back. Deb Knutson lived here for decades with most of her extended family. Many of them, including her, lost their homes last June.
The 3 houses that I've ever lived in are all gone. All 3 of them are gone. The one my dad built, the one that I raised my family with, and the other one that I lived in, they're all gone.
Not much is left at Jamie Zox's property at Douglas Lake. Some of her items are still in the rubble. She spent last winter living in a relief trailer.
Things I think are going a lot smoother for us than a lot of people. When we left a year ago, we never thought we wouldn't be coming back to nothing. And I think that's the hardest part.
Over 300 homes burned in Denair Beach during last summer's fires. Some of them have been replaced, but most of them haven't. Some people are opting for ready-to-move homes, moving them into their sites. Other people are getting custom builds. But so many have asked in such a short time that there are now delays. Some people won't get their houses even started until next spring. There are projects moving forward and new homes being built. Charities have come to the area to help out. Mennonite Disaster Service plans to build 4 new homes this summer.
We start with excavation and building the foundation and all the way up, roof, and everything inside too. So we will finish everything, grade everything away so homeowners can just move in in hopefully about 3 to 4 months.
Hundreds of lots have been cleaned and remediated. Swaths of dead trees have been cut. Harley Vliegenthart's family got the first new home at the beach. People cheered and shed tears when it arrived last fall.
I do think that we've come a really long way as a community, and I don't think you can find a group of stronger people in northern Saskatchewan than you would right here, where nobody I know has said, we're out, nobody's thrown up their hands and walked away.
Others hope their new places aren't far behind. Zox plans to rebuild. So do Knutson and her family.
I never wanted to live anywhere but Denair Beach. That's where I've wanted to be my whole entire life. I love Denair, and I'm going to die out there.
It'll take a long time for Denair Beach to return to past glory, but locals won't go away without a fight. Eric Westhaver, CBC News, Denair Beach.
want to get you up to date with what's going on with the active weather. Now, we are talking about red level tornado warnings. We've had a few of these moving around different communities. Most recent information having been with the storm cell producing a tornado. This was earlier as we were approaching 5 p.m. near Miami, and then as it continues to track northeastward, Graysville, around Carmen, really strong storm through there, and Homewood. So with this, again, red level tornado warning, you need to take cover. This is a life-threatening situation. So a basement, if you have one, or an interior room, and being able to kind of cover yourself. You don't want there to be windows, something that can give you some protection in here through this area, the RM of gray. And then a wide area where we're talking about an orange level severe thunderstorm watch. So some of these could still further develop, although as the sun sets, we should find things calming down with the atmosphere a little bit. We've got all the ingredients here, the heat, but there's been some shear, so some spin in the atmosphere, and certainly some lift. So very widespread in terms of what we have with the lightning strikes, no doubt about it, but we had more individual cells that are beginning to come together. But just focusing in, I really want you to take a look around Carmen through this area where we have the tornado warning. You need to take cover. I want you to be safe through here. But even these storms will continue. Look at tracking northeast. They will not be as strong as they are now, but tracking northeast towards Winnipeg. So all of this we will be watching as we head into the evening hours. We're definitely looking at some nocturnal thunderstorms carrying on. Brittany?
Burgers, beers, and bow and arrows. They aren't things you normally associate with an auto shop, but this isn't your traditional industrial retailer. And after nearly a century in the city, that's exactly what Princess Auto is banking on. Hundreds lined up, some overnight for the grand opening. CBC caught up with some Manitobans to find out what the excitement was all about. Matt Humphrey reports.
After 93 years in Winnipeg, Princess Auto's new store is revved up and ready to go. Raymond Peitsch got here before 7 in the morning Tuesday and still had to wait with around 500 people.
Longer than I thought, or I would have got here earlier.
There's no stopping you now.
But even if he had, there'd still be people ahead of him, some lined up Monday night.
I'm here almost every week resupplying tools for our shop, so this is kind of a pivotal moment in time for me and for the company, so great to see it.
The autos may have changed, but the family-owned company's been motoring since the early 20th century. It took off under Harvey Tallman. Now, his grandsons own it. Princess Auto has 59 locations across the country. This is the largest and could be the model for future stores.
What a store. Amazing store. Yeah, pretty amazing.
Who says guys don't like a deal?
Today's my birthday, and my birthday present to myself is coming to Princess Auto and the new store.
Did you guys need a flyer?
But there's more on offer than hardware. There's workshops to try new things, demos and displays, even an archery range.
We have candy cabin for the kids. Get ice cream, Slurpees, candy. The recreation area is huge.
VP of Communications Heather Turnbull-Smith says the store is meant to be a big part of a family's day.
We're licensed in there. You could drink a beer and walk around the store and grab a burger.
Oh, he's selling his beer free.
The grand opening kicks off 2 weeks of celebrations firing on all cylinders, from go-kart racing to parking lot concerts.
I need a Bowie for this one.
Matt Humphrey, CBC News, Winnipeg.
The body of a 23-year-old woman has been recovered from Cedar Lake more than 5 months after the truck she was in plunged through the ice. RCMP say the remains were located near the South Dike of Manitoba Hydro's Grand Rapids generating station a week ago by community members. In December, Tasha Furlan's family identified her as one of 2 people in a pickup truck when it fell through the ice. 31-year-old Corbin Constant's body was recovered in January. He used his role as a foster parent to sexually abuse children, one who was just 8 months old at the time. He was in a position of trust and ran a daycare. Now the Brandon man will spend more than 2 decades in prison. CBC's Chelsea Kemp was in court when the judge handed down the sentence.
25 years in prison. That's the sentence Provincial Court Judge Patrick Sullivan handed to a Brandon man found guilty of multiple sexual abuse charges. The man, now 38, was a foster parent to young children and ran a daycare with his common-law partner. In February last year, he was charged with sexual interference, making, possessing, accessing, and distributing child sexual abuse and exploitation material involving 2 children. He pled guilty to all charges and cannot be named to protect the identity of the children. Sullivan told the court he abused and violated the most vulnerable victims imaginable in some of the most vile and intrusive ways. He added that in online conversations, the man also expressed excitement at being part of an online community of pedophiles, and those videos and photographs will live online, causing perpetual harm to the victims. Sullivan concluded the man has failed to take full accountability and responsibility for his actions while in custody, telling him, "I'm hopeful that you are able at some stage to come to understand what led to this moment." Chelsea Kemp, CBC News, Brandon.
A long-standing gathering spot and Indigenous cultural hub is breaking in its new space. It's bringing excitement and pride for those who are running it. We'll take you there after the break. Stay with us. The Winnipeg Indigenous Friendship Centre has a new home with plans to grow even more over the next few years. It's a space for people to gather, learn, and have access to services and community resources. CBC's Gavin Axelrod got a look inside before Friday's open house.
Grace Wavy writes an Ojibwe word in the Elders Room at the Winnipeg Indigenous Friendship Centre on McGregor Street.
Being again, which means come in.
Wavy hopes to welcome people to the new space, which opened this spring. Community members can get help filling out forms, finding resources, drop in for workshops.
And I had the right ID, maybe required. I was like, I'm not going to ID any seniors. They're like, just put it. And I said, okay.
Or a game of bingo.
I'm hoping that it gives them like a sense of belonging, some hope, and if they need help, we're here.
The old Friendship Centre was on Robinson Street, a cultural hub. The Indian and Métis Friendship Centre of Winnipeg was a long-standing gathering space. It was shut down in 2018 after losing funding. In 2019, the building was badly vandalized.
I think it was really difficult because it ended up in the loss of a gathering place for our community members. It was a place where a lot of people went to volunteer. It was a place where a lot of people went to access services. So not having that place for the last number of years has been a struggle for our community.
Douglas Bartlett was hired as the center's executive director last year. He says the nonprofit Mamaway had been overseeing programs over the years to keep the center's spirit alive.
If it wasn't for Mamaway taking on the role of starting the program again and getting people involved with Friendship Center programming, none of this would have been possible.
There's also a 5-year plan to return to the former location.
Building a Friendship Center on that property, as well as a 5 to 6 story seniors residence.
The executive director says this space might be new, but the legacy will remain. Gavin Axelrod, CBC News, Winnipeg.
Some living in an area of southwest Manitoba are worried a proposed wind farm will disrupt their way of life. The project could see dozens of wind turbines go up in rural fields in the area around St. Leon. At the same time, others say Manitoba needs more electricity generated by the wind. CBC's Chelsea Kemp reports.
Dominating the landscape in St. Leon, wind towers have been generating power for more than a decade. Now a proposed development west of it has concerned residents worried about the future of the community. A tower could potentially go up beside Sarah Mazur's home. Mazur worries it will disrupt the tranquility of the land and a memorial cabin built for her mom.
It shouldn't just be the farmer next to me that gets to decide that they can put it less than a kilometer from my property.
Manitoba Hydro issued a call for Indigenous majority-owned projects in 2025. The request for proposals deadline is in July. Swan Lake Wind, a partnership between Swan Lake First Nation and Montreal-based Interjex, is one of the projects in the running. Interjex's Adeline Thames says the proposal includes between 30 to 35 wind towers near the First Nation. She says the existing St. Leon wind farm shows the energy potential of the area.
Landowners, municipalities, local First Nations can generate some economic opportunities from that power.
Bill Harrison started a petition against wind projects. He says the turbines are visually disrupting, loud. He worries about what happens when they age out of use, and says citizens have been left out of the conversation.
People say, oh, you're just a NIMBY, not in my backyard. And I say, no, not in our front yard.
Meanwhile, Climate Action Team Manitoba says they want to see the province move faster on wind power.
We would just hope to see more appreciation for the ways that winds can be brought online in a really beneficial way to hydro.
Back with Mazur, she says she would find peace of mind knowing locals are considered.
This big windmill that's being built right in our backyard, I just feel like we should have a say.
Interjex is hosting a town hall for Swan Lake Wind June 3rd in Somerset. Chelsea Kemp, CBC News, near St. Leon.
Drivers should prepare for a slower commute along a stretch of Corden Avenue as a multi-million-dollar renewal project is underway. The $7.5 million project includes road improvements, a new active transportation path, along with sewer, water, and transit stop upgrades. It impacts the stretch of Corden between Kenaston and Shaftesbury. The mayor says the roadwork is a crucial connector to the south of the city.
It protects pedestrians and protects cyclists as well, and in doing so, we're also protecting motorists. This stretch of cordon is used by so many people, especially when they want to access West Winnipeg or the very popular Assiniboine Park.
Work on the project has already begun. The improvements should be complete by late 2026. All right, well, lots of active weather out there in parts of the province. Warnings, watches, everything that we are keeping an eye on. Let's bring in meteorologist Colette Kennedy now for the latest. Colette.
Thanks, Brittany. Yes, all the ingredients here for the active weather. It's not just the heat, and we know we've had that when we look at some of the figures and the temperatures from the afternoon hours. That's one component, but we've also had a nearly stationary front. That's providing some of the lift, and then there's been some spin in the atmosphere, so that's why we're focusing so much on some of the thunderstorm activity, especially when you have tornado warnings. But I do just want to mention that that yellow level heat warning still in place for parts of the province as well, where things haven't calmed down. And speaking of calming down, anything but when you see all these lightning strikes. A lot of these storms started off more as individual storms that grew into supercells. That's very concerning. As they begin to cluster together, plus when we lose some of the energy from the sun at sunset, then things will begin to weaken. But so much to be watching for here, because these are going to carry on through towards Winnipeg. Again, not quite as much energy then. This is 9 p.m., but still nocturnal storms. You do still need to use caution, and we do have the severe thunderstorm watch, and it is an orange level, not just a yellow level, because of how strong these storms can be. And then tomorrow we'll have them firing up again. You see just south of Winkler, pushing through back towards the Red River Valley, along the Trans-Canada, and then even into Thursday, some of that rain comes back in on the backside of this before it finally exits the province. But some of the worst of it clearly today, and then tomorrow there's still enough energy there with a little less spin, but we could have the heavy downpours and the damaging winds and the risk of hail, not quite as much as we have through today. It's so localized, but see how some of these numbers could be up to 50 millimeters with what's happening today, and then add in tomorrow, and maybe Dauphin, you're getting over 60 millimeters of rain when you put it all together. So lots to be aware of, but also just kind of taking it easy here and checking on one another. So for tomorrow, a little cooler, 23 degrees. The activity tends to fire in Winnipeg towards those afternoon hours, so a little bit later. Then on Thursday, cloudy conditions, still have some showers, 19 for the high, so those temperatures dipping as we're heading towards the end of the week, closer to seasonal on Friday. And then here we go into the weekend, and somebody's doing something right, because the active weather will have left us. The sun is in place, rain out of the forecast, and look at those temperatures shooting back up into not just the high 20s, but the low 30s as we're pressing through Sunday. And by the way, a little bit of humidity coming back in there as well.
All right, thanks, Colette. If it is safe and you have photos or videos of that active weather, you can send that to talkback@cbc.ca. Meantime, here's a hazy look at the city skyline earlier today. Stick around, we've got much more ahead. Stay with us. Canada has officially told the United States and Mexico it wants to renew the free trade deal between the three countries. The recommendation comes as Prime Minister Mark Carney's trade minister is in Washington for talks. As Olivia Stefanovich reports, there's a lot to work out.
With less than a month to go before the deadline to review the Canada-United States-Mexico agreement,
there's a series of issues, technical issues.
The Prime Minister says the Americans still have a number of unresolved trade irritants.
30 issues or so with us, more than almost 60, I think, with Mexico at current count.
And Canada wants to see sectoral tariffs hitting autos, steel, aluminum, and forestry products resolved.
There, we're looking to determine whether there's a possibility of a new partnership.
That possibility being explored by the minister responsible for Canada-U.S. trade in Washington.
The goals of this meeting is to be able to tell you how well it's gone.
Dominic LeBlanc face-to-face with his U.S. counterpart.
We have a giant trade deficit.
For their third formal meeting since talks stalled over Ontario's anti-tariff TV ad last fall.
It's a tool of industrial policy. It's to be used, carefully.
The discussion taking place as Canada becomes the first country to formally recommend a renewal in writing of the trilateral free trade deal for another 16 years.
It's frankly a good time to sit down and say, look, if there's one lever that we could pull in the United States to improve the economy, to bring down prices, and to be able to increase jobs and national security, it would be to renew the USMCA.
But it's unclear if the U.S. president sees it that way. Donald Trump and his ambassador to Canada are once again trolling their northern neighbor on social media.
The president is an exceptionally active user of social media. You probably can chart his usage of it. It's only gone up in recent months, and we're not going to respond or react to everything that he posts.
In his letter to Mexico and the U.S., LeBlanc says people in all three countries are counting on the timely completion of trade talks to not only secure their economic future, but allow them to prosper. Olivia Stefanovich, CBC News, Ottawa.
Manitoba got some FaceTime Tuesday with top U.S. trade officials. Industry leaders in this province say the exposure is valuable as the free trade agreement is up for review. The CBC's Ian Fraze reports.
Well, today was a big win for Manitoba and Manitoba's economy.
Provincial leaders met with top U.S. trade officials in Washington the same day and same place as Canada's Trade Minister Dominic LeBlanc had his meeting.
Serendipitous that Minister LeBlanc was here in D.C. today at the same time.
Unlike LeBlanc, the Manitoba delegation never met with U.S. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer, but the group still had 45 minutes of FaceTime Tuesday with senior staff. Manitoba's trade rep says getting the meeting is an achievement.
This is the first time Manitoba has brought a specific delegation to meet with these top trade officials.
It was candid, it was transparent, it was clear in terms of things that are important to the administration, stuff we know in the news, but also some insights that were helpful.
Paul Soubry says they stress Manitoba's value to the U.S. economy. He saw it up close at New Flyer, a company that builds buses.
We buy a dramatic amount of U.S.-sourced components that we then put in product that are put in U.S. buses, but also that come into Canada.
The meeting comes as Canada looks to renew its free trade deal with the U.S. and Mexico. Canada wants relief from Donald Trump's tariffs, but that's no guarantee.
The timing of this meeting and the importance of this meeting as we hit that USMCA review is tremendously helpful and tremendously important.
The group hopes it's the first meeting of many.
We have now direct relationships at that senior level that welcomed us to come back or to continue to communicate our story with them.
Soubry says he's confident tariffs are here to stay. He says the trick now, getting Canada the best deal it can. Ian Fraze, CBC News, Winnipeg.
Officials in Quebec say a 3-year-old girl has died after being critically injured in an accident involving a bouncy castle over the weekend in Montreal. Sudden, strong wind gusts tossed the inflatable into the air while kids and parents were inside. It happened at a community event organized by a local church on Sunday afternoon. 11 people in total were injured. 6 were taken to hospital for treatment. The coroner's office says it's launching an investigation. Court documents show Canadian e-commerce platform Shopify paid tens of thousands of dollars to Kenneth Law. Law sold toxic products and suffocation equipment on the platform to vulnerable people around the world who were looking to end their lives. Those left behind are now asking if more attention should be paid to online services that can be used for harm. Thomas Dagg has more on that story.
Some families uncovered torn-up receipts. Others found emails linking their loved one's death to Canadian Kenneth Law and the tech giants that helped him sell materials for suicide. Benjamin Cohn died just weeks before Law's scheme was uncovered.
Say if Kenneth Law got arrested maybe, a month earlier, maybe Benji wouldn't have been able to buy anything.
Canadian e-commerce company Shopify not only hosted Law's online sales, but helped him profit. An Ontario court heard Shopify paid Law nearly $149,000 between 2020 and 2023, proceeds from selling suffocation equipment and a toxic salt to buyers as young as 16.
People are going to be like, what is he doing?
University student Tom Parfit was 22 when he died.
There's still not enough understanding about the harms that can be attributed to internet platforms.
At his home near Toronto, Law kept shelves full of his lethal products to be sold. Shopify has declined to say when it shut down his online stores or whether it proactively monitored, as Law openly boasted about selling a so-called exit mask, even sharing a message about a buyer who, quote, committed suicide.
People in the UK have died, people in the US have died, people in Canada have died, in other parts of the world, right?
Still, this legal expert says Canadian law likely won't hold any company criminally responsible.
You would also have to show that someone higher up at Shopify, a senior manager, was involved, at least facilitated or failed to prevent the offense.
Other tech giants also helped Law, with PayPal processing more than $148,000 in his sales, GoDaddy selling him domain names, and Google hosting his suicide blog.
The companies that got back to us said they cut ties with Law in 2023. He faces years in prison when he's sentenced for aiding 14 suicides in Ontario. Thomas Dagg, CBC News, Toronto.
The UN Weather Agency is warning that a potentially strong El Niño could increase the risk of extreme weather over the coming months.
In some regions, it is likely we will see heavy rainfall and floods. We can also expect an increased risk of extreme heat with higher temperatures and shifting precipitation patterns, adding further stress on human health, ecosystems, agriculture, and energy systems.
The UN chief says the arrival of El Niño is like pouring fuel on the fire of a warming world. This year, the weather pattern is being fueled by an unusually warm Pacific Ocean. It will add more heat and moisture into the atmosphere, bringing extreme heat waves or heavy rains. Hotter, drier weather can damage crops and food supplies around the globe. Across Asia, farmers are already struggling because of fertilizer shortages and costly fuel caused by the Iran war. Doctors and scientists are celebrating a new drug that dramatically increases the survival time for patients with one of the deadliest cancers. Pancreatic cancer has no cure, but as Christine Burak shows us, for the first time in decades, there's a new way to fight it.
Rarely does a cancer drug get a standing ovation from scientists and doctors.
And we're all standing there in this massive room crying it was really quite wonderful. I just have to say that I'm still emotional about it.
For decades, metastatic pancreatic cancer has been one of the deadliest diagnoses. There's still no cure, but now there's new hope. American Debbie Orcutt has stage 4 pancreatic cancer. As part of a trial, she's been taking the new drug, daraxonrasib.
I knew my diagnosis was bad, so what have I got to lose?
In a newly published study, 500 patients were randomly assigned to receive daraxonrasib or chemotherapy as a second-line treatment. On average, the new drug helped people live about twice as long as standard chemotherapy, about 13 months instead of 6 to 7.
It targets this mutation called RAS, which is driving pancreas cancer in over 95% of the cases, and it was thought to be undruggable.
You can think of RAS as a family of genes that make proteins acting like on-off switches to control cell growth. In pancreatic cancer, one of those switches gets stuck in the on position and keeps telling the cells to grow out of control. Daraxonrasib works by blocking that broken switch, effectively cutting power to the cancer.
Let's go.
Orcutt was diagnosed 2 years ago. The drug appears to be working.
Believe me, it's not lost on me. I just feel like God's given me another chance. You better make the most of it and do all good things.
While found to be less toxic than traditional chemotherapy, common side effects of the new drug are blistering skin rashes and mouth sores.
And some concerns about the side effects, because the side effects do look like it's going to take a lot of learning on our part as well. Are people going to afford it?
There is no price tag yet, and the drug hasn't been approved by the FDA or even submitted to Health Canada for review. But Canadian doctors we spoke with say if all goes smoothly, patients could have access to it in about a year. Christine Birak, CBC News, Toronto.
Well, it might make you squirm. Forest tent caterpillars are spiking in Calgary. The outbreak across Alberta that's putting trees at risk. We'll have more on that next. Forest tent caterpillars, well, native to North America, can be a nuisance in large numbers. These insects can strip the leaves off the trees they're infesting. And Calgary residents are dealing with a serious outbreak this spring. The CBC's Terry Trembath finds out more about these unsightly pests and what to do about them.
A resident of Northeast Calgary took this up-close and personal video of the tent caterpillars in his backyard Thursday night. And this large cluster of them in the northwest is just one of many posted to social media this week. But this video taken in the deep southeast sums it up.
Ew. They're up in like the top of the canopy.
This arborist says he sees forest tent caterpillars at least 2 or 3 times a week.
They're one of the primary native defoliators, and once they get out of control, it's very hard to mitigate the issue.
He says the caterpillars mostly land on fruit trees, starting at the bottom and making their way to the top, feasting on leaves and shoots along the way. While healthy trees can handle a certain amount of defoliation, weaker ones are likely to suffer.
Over the course of a few years of something like this happening, will cause a tree to go in such a rapid state of decline that we can't save it.
Forest tent caterpillars are usually found in northern and central parts of Alberta, but one entomologist says outbreaks happen about once a decade. They can last up to 3 years, and this year it looks like they've reached Calgary in big numbers.
I've been here 22 years and haven't seen anything to this extent in this area. Seen satin moth outbreaks a couple of times, but forest tent caterpillar, not to this extent.
Fry says the best way to remove them are scraping the insects off and freezing them or using a natural insecticide. This horticulturist says the sooner the caterpillars are dealt with, the better.
What worries me is that if we're not vigilant and try to deal with them and eliminate them, we will end up with quite an infestation because they'll overwinter, they'll overseason, and they'll come back twice as much.
The thought of seeing more of these caterpillar clusters might be the motivation Calgarians need to get rid of them. Terry Trembath, CBC News, Calgary.
All right, well, parts of the province have been dealing with very active weather that came really quickly rolling through. So let's bring in Colette Kennedy for the latest.
Thanks, Brittany. Well, obviously tonight we are really focusing on the active weather in the province, and for good reason. It's been quite a busy day. I want to show you some of the elements here in terms of energy. Well, we know we have that from the heat in the atmosphere when you've got temperatures like 28 in Flin Flon and 28 in Winnipeg through the afternoon hours. We had some warmer temperatures in here too. So plenty of that heat energy. There's also been some spin in the atmosphere, and thus when we've got a nearly stationary front, a boundary to provide that extra lift, well, this really gets us into some of this active weather. A lot of the moisture the jet stream has been pulling into Alberta, and that's why day after day they're getting some of the heavier rains there. And now this is, spreading eastward a little bit. So as we move into the evening hours, all these storms that have been firing up and through Brandon up towards Dauphin continue to track towards the Red River Valley. But of note is that as the sun sets, with the timing here, we'll lose some of that energy. I'm not saying there won't be some heavy downpours, some strong winds, and the risk of that severe weather is still there, but maybe just taking a few of those elements, or at least dialing them back a little bit. That's as we move through tonight. So still some nocturnal storms, and then we're going through the day tomorrow, and here we go again, another round. A little less spin in the atmosphere perhaps, but into the later afternoon, this is 4 p.m. You see this coming right along the Trans-Canada, pushing through Winnipeg into the evening hours again. And then parts of the province are still going to have the chance at some wet weather as we move through Thursday before we can say goodbye to this. Now, in terms of the severe thunderstorm risk tomorrow, it's still there over the province, but it shifts maybe just a little bit further eastward. So that's something to take note of. I'm going to take you through some of your forecast temperatures for you to see here. But while I'm doing that, I also want to remind you it's a great idea if you can have 2 different ways to get alerts when it comes to severe weather. So not just your phone, because especially if the battery could die, you lose power, or this kind of thing in terms of being able to charge it. We want you all to stay safe and be aware of what's going on in the atmosphere when we have storms like this. So through the day, here we go tomorrow, Brandon, okay, it's going to be towards the lunch hour, then after the lunch hour, pushing towards Portage la Prairie, and then by the later afternoon coming towards Winnipeg. So why don't we perk things up with Coda from Tom swimming to cool off, swimming towards home. What a cutie, look at those eyes. And this was near Kenora. And I think you know it from what I've just been saying about your forecast. But as far as Winnipeg goes with your dog walking forecast, or you're walking any kind of outdoor activities later in the afternoon, tomorrow will be the tricky spot.
All right, thanks, Colette. Well, with the World Cup just over a week away, FIFA continues to face scrutiny over its ticketing practices. As Troy Charles tells us, some people are feeling misled about ticket prices and seat locations.
I think that's a match for Luka.
Earlier this year, Payam Sabzmadani jumped at the opportunity to take his son and wife to a World Cup match. He bought 3 tickets for $980 each to attend Canada's game against Switzerland at BC Place. The tickets were sold as Category 1, which is why he was surprised when he was emailed his seats and FIFA placed him at the very top of the lower bowl behind the net.
But I know, like, from behind the goal, like, you basically don't see much of, like, the other side of the field.
According to FIFA, Category 1 tickets mean the highest price and closest to the field.
I paid this much price for those tickets, and we're getting a seat that, I don't know, I wouldn't say it's definitely not Category 1.
And he is not alone.
The investigation will focus on those who complained they were misled about ticket locations.
Last week, a subpoena was filed by the states of New York and New Jersey as part of an investigation into the pricing and accuracy of seat locations for the World Cup. New Jersey's MetLife Stadium will host the World Cup final. This Vancouver ticket broker is not surprised by FIFA's tactics.
It's a natural progression from where they started to where they're at right now. You can see that eventually it's going to come to this. Complete manipulation, total control.
The province says if someone believes a ticket seller has violated BC's ticket sales laws, they should contact Consumer Protection BC.
People should have the utmost confidence when they are buying event tickets.
In an email to CBC, a FIFA spokesperson defended its ticket pricing, stating that in December it slashed prices on some tickets for each participating country.
You feel like this is a very scarce thing. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and you just pay probably much more than you would have.
Now, with all that in mind, if you still want to be on the other side of this beautiful fence come match day, you still can. Right now on the FIFA website, the cheapest nosebleed ticket for Canada's first match against Qatar, that'll cost you $770. Troy Charles, CBC News, Vancouver.
And with those FIFA games coming soon to North America, authorities in both Canada and the United States are deep into preparations to secure the various host locations. And NORAD is a big part of that. The CBC's David Common recently visited its secretive Joint Operations Center in Colorado.
What does the world's most secure bunker have to do with the world's biggest sporting event? Well, come on inside this mountain complex with me to see NORAD's role in protecting the World Cup. We're entering an underground labyrinth built inside a mountain in Colorado, highly fortified with bomb-proof doors. This complex was originally built to counter the Soviet nuclear threat, and so you see the giant blast doors, one here, one beyond, that would be closed in the event of a major incident. Military personnel from both Canada and the U.S. work inside the mountain 24/7, watching over the continent's busy skies and the oceans which surround it. And now, a new task. The skies over World Cup sites in Canada and the U.S. will be declared no-fly zones in June and July during competition.
Our role is really to establish, if required, establish an air umbrella over the venues to deal with the possibility of airborne threats. In the Canadian context, that would translate into probably airborne CAPs, combat air patrols, during the time of the games.
And would those be primarily Canadian aircraft that would be doing that?
Oh yeah. Our plan is to use Canadian aircraft.
Then there's the drone threat. NORAD coordinating with police in both host cities. They have the capacity to detect drones and, if necessary, the technology to take them down. The Mounties telling us unauthorized drones will not be permitted within restricted airspace, and law enforcement will respond quickly and effectively to any unauthorized drone activity. If there is a worry above a World Cup site, fighter jets will likely already be in the area, but more can be scrambled to race to the scene carrying weapons too. All done in coordination with civilian air traffic controllers and law enforcement on the ground. David Common, CBC News, inside the Cheyenne Mountain Space Force Base in Colorado.
Well, to a different kind of football, Winnipeg Blue Bomber Chris Strevler is hanging up his cleats. The team is throwing a retirement party that you're all invited to. It's happening at the home opener next Thursday and includes a Strevy look-alike competition. That tailgate party starts at 5:30.
Okay, so yeah, busy weather conditions for sure in the province today. We're going to have some active weather into tomorrow as well. So the pattern is starting to shift a little bit with some of that energy from the west of us moving eastward. So tomorrow temperatures coming down a little bit as well, but still some thunderstorm activity, still some energy to work with into the afternoon hours. For Thursday, some showers still remaining, a little less for Winnipeg. It transfers a bit further north into the Interlakes region. And then Friday, 22, so still some lower temperatures through here. And then look what happens, lo and behold, as we go into the weekend, we get some of those warmer readings, but also some nicer sky conditions through there too, Brittany.
All right, thanks, Colette. Well, a high school student in New Brunswick has recreated a well-known Haida work of art using Lego bricks. This Lego Haida dog salmon is your daily lift.
This right here is my art piece, the Lego recreation of Bill Reed's Haida fish. I've loved Lego since I was a kid, really. My parents, they weren't into too much technology when I was younger. They were pretty against that, so they got me Lego, and that's all I got, really, Lego, and it's awesome. So and then when I got a job for the first time, I started getting my own money, and I bought more Lego with that money. So it's really just, I grew up with it. Just the idea of getting to handle Lego bricks all day, every day for my job seems pretty awesome. So that's where this project came about, just the idea of getting to work for Lego somewhere down the line.
It dawned on me that one thing Lego probably had never done is something that is very Canadian, and that would be Haida art. Henry was instantly gravitated towards the idea, and then he started looking for an image of something that he could do in Haida art.
I would estimate about 15,000 pieces, and probably, I want to say at least 50 hours. Over time, I didn't keep track of it too much.
Honestly, I teared up when I saw it hanging in the art gallery at Sudbury Shores, because I couldn't believe the creativity that Henry put into it, and the end result was just phenomenal.
I didn't realize how much traction my piece was getting, because I was there for about an hour just talking to people about it who liked it and enjoyed it.
Well done, so creative, and you just hope that he isn't missing a few of those pieces when he gets to the end. Stay safe, stay warm, stay cool. We'll see you back here tomorrow night. Have a great night.